Hello everyone and welcome back. So here I'm gonna prepare the geometry, and for this sourcing to work we're going to need the unpacked geometry, the raw geometry. So I'm gonna unpack it here. Okay. And I'm gonna create a debris source. Now the default one that comes with Houdini works well, but the one from QLib is much faster. It has more features. So if you install the QLib toolset and hit tab, type in debris, you'll see debris source QL, and this is the one we're going to use. So the surface density, basically we have two things. We can either emit from the surface, the inside surface, or we can emit from the edge. Okay, I'm emitting from the inside surface more than the edges. So here I'm going to set this to 10,000. The max points, I'm going to increase this to 2,000. And then the search points, I'm going to reduce it to 50. What it does is, the way it works, let's say we have these pieces close to each other at this frame. It's going to store that state. It's going to say, okay, I know these points are close to each other. If they're separating, if they're going to separate from each other, I'm going to flag them. That's what I want to emit. So that condition is, it's going to start scattering points. It's going to have points already scattered, and it's going to flag them as, hey, this is the source. So the 50 value here is the source point. We have points scattered here, and it's going to use the maximum 50 points to look up its neighbors. Okay, so we don't need it to be that high. The separation distance is how far the pieces get away from each other, how far the pieces can separate. And for my scale, I use the value of 5. And we can increase this if we wanted to cache it in memory. And then the velocity threshold is also another factor. So if something is separating but it doesn't have a huge velocity, it's not going to flag it. It's not going to use it. And right now the velocity threshold is very low, and I'm going to use a 0.25 value. Now the trick is, after it flags something and it starts emitting, we don't want it to emit continuously. This is one T, so it's 24 frames, and that's too long. We don't want to be emitting for 24 frames. So I want it to be snappy. If it happens, emits, done. That's it. So I'm going to lower this to 0.1 and this to 0.1, and that will be about 2 frames, which is enough for what I need. And the lifespan exponent, I'm going to set this to 1. I'm not sure what it does. I'm going to leave the particles on, and that's it. This is my, I'm going to show the source. I've already cached it. And I'm going to import the source here. And this is what I have. This is it's going to generate points. And that's when the impact happens. So let's template the geometry. So there, that's the first separation, and then everything else. And then the spaceship rises. So it's always triggering. If something happens, it's gonna continuously emit. Now the thing I haven't done is, which I think you guys probably want to do, is to use the high-res geometry. So what I have here is the raw geometry, the original one without the up-res part. I didn't do the up-res because I thought it's gonna be way too much to add debris, small debris on top of the up-res. So I just did it here, because I know that these blocks will potentially have so much details on them, and having just some stuff here is gonna be okay. It's gonna be helpful for the visual, but I didn't want to go extreme and use the high-res version and emit from that. So that's why I'm using the original one, and this is the source. Cool. So let's do this. I'm gonna copy that box onto these points. Okay, I'm gonna reduce its size. Or let's set it to 1, and let's do this. Let's create a random attribute and call this scale. and it's going to be 0.01 and 0.1. Okay, so we have boxes. Maybe 0.1 is too small, something like this. And let's emit. I'm gonna randomize the velocity as well. So right now it's constant. I'm gonna use a random attribute here. This is V, and it's gonna be direction or orientation. I'm gonna keep this, so I always want the velocity to go up. And with this, I'm gonna say instead of set value, I'm gonna add. So the randomization will be added to the points. Okay, let's run this and see how it looks. So it's starting to emit. It's gonna be really slow because I have a lot of points. Yeah, it's a lot of pieces. So that's our points. And to test this quickly, I'm gonna delete, I'm gonna keep 10% of the points only. So if rand of ptnum is less than 0.8.9, I'm gonna remove points. Okay, let's go back. And that's our sim. And right now we have a uniform shape. We don't want this box, we want something more interesting. And we need to make the pieces spin when they get born. So we're gonna do that in the next video, and see you soon. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.